If you've ever found yourself saying yes when you really wanted to say no, or bending over backwards to make others happy, this video is for you. Today, we're going to tackle a big one, people pleasing. And I'm going to tell you up front, I'm a people pleaser in recovery. And by being in recovery, I'm still working on it. It's a journey, not a destination. And today I want to share my story, the lessons I've learned, and an exercise that's helping me take control when my inner pleaser tries to run the show. So let me give some context. My inner people pleaser is relentless. She puts everyone ahead of me, family, friends, coworkers, and even strangers. And here's the kicker. She often prioritizes people who haven't been all that kind. Why? Because she believes this one dangerous thought. If I'm nice enough, supportive enough, and helpful enough, they'll surely change. Spoiler alert, that rarely happens. As a leader, this tendency left me in a constant state of burnout. I was missing deadlines, taking on extra work to help others, and losing sight of my own goals. I thought I was being generous, but the truth is, I was overgiving to avoid conflict, rejection, or disappointing others. Sound familiar? If so, keep watching. I'm about to share 5 hard-earned lessons about why people-pleasing doesn't work and what you could actually do instead. So let's start with this one. People don't respond the way you want them to. No matter how kind, helpful, or generous I was, people didn't magically reciprocate the way I expected. And honestly, how could they? They're not mind readers. I had this unspoken script in my head thinking, if I do this, then they'll do that. But guess what? They're working off their own script, one I had absolutely no control of. And this was a big wake-up call for me. People pleasing doesn't guarantee the response. It doesn't guarantee validation. And that's okay. It's not your job to control their reaction. It's your job to take care of you. And here's lesson 2. Let's talk about resentment. If you've ever gone out of your way for someone and they didn't thank you, reciprocate, or even acknowledge your effort, you kind of know what I'm talking about. I remember a specific time when I stayed late at work to help a colleague finish a project. I sacrificed my evening and they didn't even say thank you. I smiled and shrugged it off in the moment, but inside I was fuming. That resentment didn't just hurt me, it seeped into my relationships, creating distance and tension. And lesson 3, people pleasing is exhausting, period. It's like running on a treadmill that never stops. You keep saying yes, keep showing up for others, and before you know it, you are completely drained, mentally, emotionally, and physically. I've actually had those days. I was so busy meeting everyone else's needs, I had nothing left for myself by the end of the day. And when you're running on empty, it's impossible to show up fully for yourself or anyone else. And number 4, here's the thing. When you're constantly giving, your own needs fall to the bottom of the list or off completely. I cannot tell you how many times I skipped meals, canceled personal plans, or lost sleep because I was busy pleasing everyone else. And what did that lead to? Burnout. Plain and simple. And number 5, here's the ironic twist. I started feeling judgmental, not just towards others, but towards myself. I think it's not fair everyone else gets their needs met, but I don't. And then I judge myself for feeling that way. It was like this vicious cycle of guilt and frustration. Guilt, frustration. But here's what I've learned. You can't pour from an empty cup. Prioritizing your own needs isn't selfish, it's necessary. And here's a powerful exercise that helped me manage my inner pleaser. Think back to a specific time when your people pleaser took over. Replay that moment in your mind. And now we're going to rewrite the story. So ask yourself, what if I had said no instead of yes? What would have been the sacrifice? What would have been the gain? So here's how it works. Imagine a coworker asks you to stay late to help with their task. And your first instinct is to say yes. You need to pause. Imagine saying no instead. What would have happened? Maybe they would have figured it out themselves. Maybe the project wouldn't be perfect in your eyes, but it would get done. And you'd leave on time, have dinner with your family or friends, and actually feel a little less stressed. Every time I feel the urge to overextend myself, I pause and ask, what do I need in this moment? And let me tell you, it's a game changer. Breaking free from people pleasing isn't about turning your back on kindness or generosity. It's about learning to be kind for yourself and generous to yourself. It's about recognizing your needs, your time, and your energy are just as valuable as anyone else's. By setting healthy boundaries, You're not only protecting yourself, but you're also showing up for others with true respect. When you stop overextending yourself, you actually open the door for deeper, more authentic connection, one that's built on respect and not one-sided giving. So let me ask you this. What could you gain if you were to choose to prioritize yourself today? What could you achieve, or how could you feel? If you said yes to yourself as much as you said yes to others, I know it's not easy, but I promise it's so worth it, and you're worth it. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs this reminder. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself. You deserve it.